Alrighty, Mikey, you ready?
I'm ready.
I am ready too. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Glass Half Sports, a show with all of the best takes on the internet. So make sure you like, share, and follow over at Glass Half Sports. I am one half of your hosting duties and 75% of the fight knowledge on this show, joined as always by Gabe, the other 25% of the fight knowledge on this show, and as always by my trusty co-host, Mike Mensing, who accounts for what? 0.01 of the fight knowledge of what we're going to have to talk about today?
Yeah, I just carry the rest of the show. You got the fights.
Oh, the rest of the show, Mike.
Yep.
That's how we're going to start this today. Yeah, Mike's got a little bit of an attitude, so you guys are going to get to see that shine through. But we do have a good show for you guys this week. Mike, if they want to follow along with all of our content, both here and in the future, where can they find us?
As always, guys, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, and YouTube.
That's
and
it.
Patreon
And Twitch.
And
all the other places where you can find sports content, pretty much.
Right.
Got a big show for him this week. Mike, what are we going to be discussing on the show?
Yeah, as always, guys, we have a big show for you today. We're going to be talking Twins, the Wild playoff.
Play out, maybe.
Play out.
Yep.
We have a segment called Fight Night Fallout.
Yep.
A lot of things happening with fighting that Gabe and Nick will talk about. And then we have our Hot Corner segment as well, which actually has a segment in that segment that I am extremely excited for.
Oh, so we have sub-segments.
We have sub-segments.
Look at the depth of this show, ladies and gentlemen. It is getting, we're no longer in shallow waters. We swim with sharks out here.
Yeah, we're real professionals.
Yeah. Evident by the fact that neither one of us is wearing like a suit and tie, but it is going to be a good show. So we can pretty much start off with the Twins.
Real quick.
Yeah.
If you guys actually want to catch us maybe over the weekend.
Yeah.
We are on cable in the Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities area.
Yep.
On MCN 6 at 10 p.m. on Saturday nights.
And, by the way, this is an interactive show. Let's not forget that either. During the show, go on over to @GlassHalfSports on Facebook and put your comments in during the live stream. Our wonderful producer in the back, Gabe, will put them up on screen and we will be able to interact with you here or after the show. So without further ado, let's get right into it with Twins talk. Mike, your thoughts on the sweep of the Oakland Athletics and then kind of a split series with Houston?
Yeah, to see us sweep Oakland was great.
Yep.
I think, what was it, 2 or 3 of the games were one-run games
Yep.
as well. Really close, played very well. To see the young guys come up and play well is exciting as well. Miranda hits his first major league dinger.
Oh, to the second deck on a line, might I add, #Miranda Mania.
Yeah, that exit velo was, what was it? It was like one.
It was high. It was Ohtani-esque.
Yeah, it was nuts. And then Royce Lewis, coming up too, after we just watched him play for
the day before.
The day before, coming up and getting his first career hit in his first major league game. It's cool, man. We talked about how the future was bright for these Twins because of the players that are going to be coming up in the farm system. And to basically see them make an emergence and play well is very encouraging.
Yeah.
And then you have a scare with Carlos Correa.
Everybody hold your breath, but it's not a broken hand.
Is his hand or finger broken?
No.
Yeah, like you said, Minnesota collectively takes a big gasp. It is not broken, and we will hopefully see him back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a 10-day IL, which is good because
was actually even retroactive and went back to the day they got into.
Yep. So you'll probably see him. Ironically, you won't see him for the Houston series. After last week on this show, we pretty much pubbed, hey, Correa is going to get to square off against his old team. He will not. That might be next year now. But for me, you're 1.5 or 2.5 games above the White Sox right now, coming off a sweep of a really bad team and playing 500 ball against a veteran-led ball club that has World Series experience, cheaters or not, right? You can't knock them for that. That's what you want to see from a team that's in this situation of the Minnesota Twins. You get like an A+ versus the A's, and you can just file this entire series under growing pains, right? And that's okay. You want to see growth in the first 50 games of the season for some of the younger talent. And Gabe, you're about a segment ahead on these highlights. But it's cool to see them develop or find kind of like a stride or a waterline, right? Like Nash was on the show last week and said what separated the Twins in that 100-win season in 2019 was what? Beating up on bad teams and getting what you can away from other playoff teams. And we've seen that so far this year. They got what they could from the White Sox. They got what they could from Houston, even though the night previous, they got almost no hit by a ancient Justin Verlander, which the Twins should be very familiar with as a former Detroit Tigers starter. But Yeah, there's no negatives really other than maybe just some health stuff, especially considering to this point in the season, even without injury, Buxton has missed 37% of games. Maybe to hold him and make sure that he can sustain through the season, but if you can keep this pace and he's missing that many games, more power to the Twins, because then in the late season when you're going to need him to make a little bit more of a playoff push, you're going to be all that much better, right?
I, I, I would agree. Hopefully that percentage that he's missing doesn't increase.
Yeah, 40% would be the waterline for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not go above that. That would be key. And get Correa back, please.
But I think as long as we kind of hold pat, if we can play 500 baseball against good teams,
Yep,
and then just beat the teams that we should beat,
mm-hmm.
we're going to find ourselves fighting for a playoff spot.
100%.
If not a division win.
Oh, for sure. Well, I think a pennant is in sights for them if they continue to play this way, especially with the way that the White Sox are panning out right now.
Agreed.
So anything else that you want to add on the Twins week that was, I guess?
I think it's very important to know how encouraging this is watching our young guys come up and play well. Balazovic got his first AAA strikeout up with the Twins as well in this past week. I know it's not technically Twins baseball, but part of the organization.
Simeon Woods Richardson, 19 innings of a 1.32 ERA baseball in Double-A. Yeah. Austin Martin hitting safe in 19 straight games in Double-A, and now with Miranda and Royce up, he's got the opportunity to move up and play for the Saints. Like, there's some really good positive things happening inside the Twins organization that should not be understated.
Outside of a $35 million contract signing.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So that's
there's lots of security on the way for the Twins to make the right moves.
I would say our winning window
wide open.
It's pretty wide open at this point.
Wide open.
Especially if we do have a good season and it pans out well here in 2022.
Look at the starters. Ryan, Young. Paddock, Young. Winder, Young.
Out.
Well, I mean, out, but young, 26.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you can, even with arbitration, which I know is like a...
and he's undergoing his second Tommy John now, too. So,
yeah. He was only 10 day. Oh, it's that bad, huh? Well, we might see some of that younger pitching talent earlier than I thought. But... And that's not a knock. That's why you need 6 starters, right? Even though it seems like kind of a dud trade now. You're going to lose them for the year.
We'll be talking about a dud trade later today as well.
All right, fair enough. Let us know what you guys thought on the week that was for the Minnesota Twins, and we can talk about our top twin for the week. Every week, me and Mike sit down and give a little bit of credit to the guys that are playing their arses off at the MLB show level roster. Mike, who do you have as your player of the week or top twin for the Twinkies right now?
Sure. Honestly, I was basically looking at the Athletics series.
Okay.
Started on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You had the Astros on Tuesday, but we'll kind of see how that series pans out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Jorge Polanco.
Oh, he has hit surprisingly well in big spots.
Had a hit in all 3 games against the Athletics. His on-base percentage, I think, was like near 600. Good. With the walks and stuff that he was taking. Had a few ribbies. Playing very well in that 2-3 hole that we have him in. And then he's usually pretty dang good with the glove as well. So if he can continue to play like that, that's playing outside of his role. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah. And I think early in the season, he hit in the 4 hole.
Right.
I think when Correa comes back to switch those two, for it to go Buxton, Polanco, Correa, and have Correa hit in the 2 hole, because especially at the top of the order with a switch hitter, which are very rare in baseball these days, like it's a little bit of a dying art. Actually literally wrote or read an article on that earlier this week. It puts stress on so many of the relievers that you're going to face, the starters that you're going to face, because they're always going to have, a tough time pitching to the opposite handed hitter to start the game. And the Twins got to start fast to give some of these younger pitchers a chance to secure some leads or settle into games. Yeah, settle into games. So I think that is where he's going to find his home. He hit really well in the 2 or 3 hole last year too. Or in 2019. So definitely props to Polanco. And then for me.
And yours?
I am going to go with the youth. And now, Gabe, if you would like, you can run those highlights. The youth in general. I know you kind of had a little bit of a cop-out saying Miguel Sano is not, is the best retractor from the team. But the youth for the Twins over the last week has been 110% the top twin. Josh Winder with 2 quality starts. Young guy gets his first major league win. You can't ask anything more of him. Jose Miranda, while he's only hitting like 133, has 2 doubles, has a home run, has 3 RBIs.
When he does hit the ball, though,
He's all yeah. When he hits the ball, it's going places fast. And the thing about it is, if you look at the RBIs and the runs, he's accounted for 6 runs of the Twins' offense since he's come up, and he's provided a solid glove at first base. So that's plus play from him. And then Royce Lewis, do you need him to be a rock star hitting right now? No. Does he need to come in and fill the role of Carlos Correa defensively? Yes. And you saw that barehanded throw that he picked up in the middle of the infield for an out when they were wearing those so classic Twins blues that they should wear more often. Probably one of the most underrated uniforms in the MLB.
Agreed.
You can see Josh Donaldson actually rocking it on his bobblehead right there. But he provides you that type of defense, so you really don't have a step back defensively. That's a plus. And so you're going to see that more and more. Duran pitching really well still. He gets shelled in the one outing like at the end of the Baltimore series, and that's about it. He goes right back to being rock solid. But the youth is there, man, at the MLB level, and Celestino as well, playing really well in the outfield and the spot starts that he's getting. So top twin for all of the youth that have come up and kind of made their name.
Just got called up as well from the Saints.
Yep.
There's a ton of new names here on our Twins roster that are all pretty much playing well.
Absolutely. And by the way, I'm going to take a second. Round of applause to Royce Lewis, who's battled through multiple injuries. 2017's number 1 overall pick, kind of a long road to get there, is definitely showing his value at this point. Definitely. So that would be my top twin. Let us know in the comment section who you guys have as the top twin for the week. So that way we can get back to you here live on the show or in the comment section afterwards. And then we can take a look forward to what the Twins have laying ahead with the Cleveland Indians and another series against the Oakland A's. Or Guardians, sorry. Cleveland Guardians. What are your expectations for these 6 upcoming games, Mike?
Do you know when the game from yesterday got suspended to? Is it later in the year type?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay. So it basically turns into a 2-game series with the Astros. Then.
Yep.
If we can split that series,
yeah,
that'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
Guardians, I'd say you got to win 2 of 3. They're
playing a lot better than one would have expected them to play. And Jose Ramirez, who turned down an additional $50 million to stay in Cleveland. Not even LeBron has done that. So maybe Cleveland should be focused on him and not Deshaun Watson. But he's ripping the cover off the ball right now. Really just the focal point of that offense. And if you can neutralize him, I think that's going to play a huge role in that series.
I just view it as a division rival.
Yep.
You got to win 2 of the 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
If not sweep. And then we go right into another series with the Athletics. We've talked about it. You have to capitalize against bad teams.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys at the end of that Athletic series. So if we can get 5 wins before I see you guys next, we would be sitting in a great spot.
I think 4 is good. 5 is like, okay, now we got something going, right? And can you go back-to-back sweeps against the A's? Absolutely, you can. Take advantage of that if you have the opportunity to. So go get them. Take what you can from the division rival, right? We just talked about it. Take what you can where you can. And in the games you're supposed to beat up on teams, like really beat up on them, especially with some of that
I'd like
youth.
To see a little bit more than 1-run wins in a sweep.
Oh, for sure. But like that's development for the bullpen. Right. If they're blowouts, it should be Miranda hitting the ball well, Royce Lewis getting his bat involved, Buxton staying hot, maybe Correa coming back off the IL and hitting well, Polanco continuing to stick, Kepler, Kirilloff's return to the lineup, Joe Ryan maybe returning to form. He kind of got shook up in that Astro start. They've got some good hitters, but like just things like that. Want to see steps forward, right? Just continue. None of this 1 step forward, 2 step back stuff that we're so familiar with the rest of our Minnesota ball clubs, please.
True.
Yeah. So you got anything else you want to say about the upcoming schedule for the Twins?
No, honestly, it's fun to be excited about the Minnesota Twins again.
It was fun to be excited about the Wolves. It was fun to be excited about the Wild. Neither one of those have really panned out, but the good thing
are we already transitioning our focus to the Twins?
I mean, kind of just the thing I love about baseball and hate about baseball, the love-hate relationship is teams can be really good in the regular season and suck in the playoffs, but you get 162 games of good baseball then before your heart gets broken. In the NHL, it's 82. In the NFL, it's 17. So the window's much longer here for you to actually enjoy your summer than, hate your fall or hate your winter.
Right.
So let us know what you guys think on the Minnesota Twins and their upcoming schedule with a home road split with the Guardians and the Athletics. And we will get back to you here on the show as always. And what segment do we have next, Mikey?
We have our card giveaway contest.
And is this the last of our baseball giveaway?
This is the last of our baseball giveaway?
It's the last. It's the last. It's over. There's nothing left. Just 2 packs.
And then what? No more? None? That's it?
And then football.
Oh.
And then we got some high quality football cards we'll go back to.
So if you're a baseball person,
this is your last chance.
That's it.
That's it. No more. Mike Trout card's still up there.
You guys, the Mike Trout card is still available.
Right there.
Oh, all you have to do to win that card, share this clip with Mike Trout as the name. You can do it on any social platform.
As many times you want.
As many times as you want. That's all you got to do.
So you want to start with taking a name out of the bowl while I get these cards open?
That sounds like a great plan.
Here you go.
All right. So to be fair, again,
not looking.
I'll look directly into the camera here. It's one of those things I feel bad for my fiance for. All right. And the winner is Instagram, Nick's Chicken Writing.
Jasper 411.
Jasper 411 or 441.
441. There you go. This was actually one of our original Instagram submissions, I believe.
Congratulations.
You have won any of the cards that are available. So let's run through them real quick. Cornell Powell autograph. Shea Toney autograph. Marlon Tuapititololo, 3rd string defensive tackle for the Eagles.
4th string.
4th string. Ben Skronik, college autograph. We've got some baseball cards, but the one that you would want out of that group is what? The Mike Trout card.
The
Mike Trout burner refractor card. That's up there in the background as well. So, yeah, Gabe's gonna creep in there and try to get. Yep, point to it, Mike. There you go. Up in the corner. Look at those ET-esque fingers. Perfect. All right.
Phone Trout.
He's been hitting like an alien this year, like 427. And then we can go into the new cards.
The cards that are available from sharing today's clip.
Nope. I need to be closer. Where are we going here?
I'll widen it out here. Hang on.
Okay.
But yeah, here, I'll go to this one. I guess we didn't reset the camera, not that. Let's do this one.
Boom.
There we go.
And then I can. Bingo. Perfect. Yeah, and maybe not move us, but here we go. All right. So first card is Herbert Perez with Milwaukee. Sam Huff, no relation, with the Texans or the Rangers. Taylor Trammell with Seattle.
Decent bat.
Ooh. Armando Cruz with the Washington Nationals.
That's a sick card.
That is a sick card. Future Vibrance. Juan Soto, Washington Nationals card. You didn't see that. I'm going to keep this one. I'm just kidding. I can't do that. That'd be unfair. Then we have
Adley Rushman.
Rushman. There we go. Baltimore.
What year is this at?
This is 2021 Bowman's Best.
2021. Okay.
Yep.
Ooh, Jason Dominguez.
Jason Dominguez,
That's a big
Yankees
card.
card. That is a big one for you rookie hunters out there.
Ooh, I thought it was my guy Jazz.
Nope. This is Randy. You want to take a shot at that last name, Mike?
Yeah, it's Arozarena.
Arozarena. There we go. Look at Mike out here. Oh, here's the auto card. No
fucking
way. Seattle Mariners,
No fucking way.
Julio Rodriguez on card autograph, ladies and
That
gentlemen.
is like the hottest rookie. I mean, besides Wander, of course, or whatever. Like that's
Yep.
a huge card.
This is the stud,
Wow.
the upcoming stud for the Seattle Mariners.
I am going to call every collector I know and let them know they're morons if they're not sharing this like crazy.
Hey, we give away good cards on this show.
That's crazy.
We give away good cards on this show. And then his unfortunate understudy, Harry Ford.
Hard to follow. Hard to follow that.
Hard to follow
An
that.
amazing pull.
What a Trout burner,
Soto.
a Soto, and a Julio Rodriguez autograph card.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Mike,
Looking that up right now.
oh, and a Jason Dominguez Yankees card. Oh, by the way, The Arozarena car is numbered to 25.
Oh, really?
Shut the fuck up.
Nope.
That's an insane pack.
Yeah, here, you want to zoom back in on it, Gabe?
Gabe is excited.
Can I quit as producer so I can drawing?
No, I'm not going to allow you to quit.
God. Here,
like at all.
Get it on screen here.
Yeah. And I'll put the two most important cards up. But yeah, as you can see up in the corner here, folks, 14 of 25. Numbering there for the Arozarena card.
The
Dominguez
Auto is the best.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
That is a smoking pack.
All right, so Mike, we got to do it. You have to run them through the rules so they know how to win one of these 3 absolute stud-worthy cards that we pulled today.
Yeah, guys, once again, all you have to do is share this clip on the social media platform that you prefer. You can do more than one if you'd like to. Preferably, you share the clip with the name of the player's card that you would like to win. That way, if we pull your name out of the vase, it tells us which card is going to you. So,
yeah, unlimited entries on any platform, by the way.
Unlimited entries. We'll put your name in more than once. All you have to do is share the clip.
And then maybe tune in next week to see if you won.
Also, I just looked at, I pulled up my eBay machine here.
Oh, you have a machine for strictly eBay back there?
And,
yeah, it's with the Glass Half Sports technology.
Oh, the analytics department. Right. I forgot we have them these days.
The Julio Rodriguez card, the auto, that's $100 card.
Woo!
And going up.
Well, yeah, the more he hits, the better it gets.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. You can get a $100 card for sharing a video on Facebook.
That's insane.
The competition should be stiff between him and Mike Trout.
How about you guys? I tell you what, you guys can just have this episode and just give me that pack of cards.
No.
Easy.
How about no? But nice try, Gabe.
I know.
And then, Mike, what do we got next?
So with that, we are going to switch gears and talk about the Minnesota Wild and St. Louis Blues first round Western Conference series.
I'm going to let you start.
I was right.
Oh, you were right. About what?
About the Fleury trade.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
No.
Because we're going to be out here tonight, and then I was right.
Nope.
Yep.
I don't think it's a Fleury thing.
Here's why. Whether or not it's a Fleury thing, I'm not holding it against Marc-Andre personally. I'm not going to his front step and demanding more, anything like that. Bill Guerin and the Minnesota Wild made a decision to go with Marc-Andre Fleury throughout the playoffs, no matter how well Cam Talbot played down the stretch. Cam Talbot in his last 16 games is 13-0-3.
You were listening to K-Fan this week.
I was listening to K-Fan this week. And I would like to actually give a shout out to Russo off of K-Fan Russo Radio.
Nice.
Because he had a take yesterday that I 110% agree with. And it goes back to me bashing this trade from the beginning. Now that you've played Fleury in 5 games, you basically have to play Fleury in game 6. You have to. Let's say the Wild lose game 6 and are done.
And it's then
you're the only goalie that you have under contract at that point in time coming back to the Minnesota Wild next year is Cam Talbot.
A guy that you just scorned from the playoffs.
Totally. You basically told him, hey, you are number 1 goalie. You went 13-0-3 in your last 16 starts.
Yep.
You're not good enough to play in the playoffs for us. Oh, by the way, now you're our only goalie and we really need you.
That doesn't sit well with most players, I would assume.
No. I would imagine that Cam Talbot is playing for a different team next year. And now, because of this Fleury thing, it's the opposite of what I wanted. When the trade happened, I didn't like it because I wanted a goalie room, like a quarterback room, that was going to be solidified and good for a few years. Now, because of this trade and how it has panned out,
Kaapo Kähkönen would have been an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. Let's keep that in mind.
True. But you still have a good veteran.
Yep, no, I agree.
Talbot,
I agree.
Bring in youth.
I agree.
But now you're basically going to have an empty goalie room.
Oh, yeah.
And you're starting over from scratch.
Yep. In the middle of your
winning window that was shrunk severely because of this trade. And that's why I didn't like it at the time. Honestly, I feel like I'm being proven correct with my bashing of the trade. Guys, I want Minnesota sports to do well. That is not where I'm coming from.
Mike is too smart.
I just know what to do in a weird way. Somebody should hire me. Give me money. I'll run your team.
Oh, we're going to talk about how our asking price has gone up here at the end of the show. So there's a little bit of a teaser for you. But here's the way that I look at it. Game 3, was more play indicative of a team that is worthy of winning a Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Go out and
Game 5 was the first couple periods.
And mashed on the St. Louis Blues. Outpaced them, was more disciplined. All of the things that I pretty much said that we were going to get out of the Wild over the course of the weekend. Then you get into Game 4. Here's my opinion. Game 4 was your opportunity to put the nail in the coffin, and poof, there it went. Okay, fine, whatever. Regroup. Bad game. It happens to everybody, especially since you were on the road. But in Game 5, it was a typical late game collapse, and that was your opportunity, that, going into that game, might I add, for you to make the change to get Marc-Andre Fleury some rest, reset his confidence, knock the rust off Cam Talbot in case you were going to need him, for example, tonight in Game 6 or in Game 7. And Dean Evison just didn't adjust. I'm sorry, you can blame Fleury. You can blame Talbot.
I'm not blaming Fleury. I want to make that clear. I'm not putting my blame on Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm putting my blame on how the front office handled the Fleury situation.
I would agree. I think this sits squarely on the desk of Dean Evison. You had the opportunity to do things right. And because we didn't adjust, very much like the Minnesota Vikings in that game against the Eagles, you just didn't adjust. Now you're in a very bad, the Timberwolves in the playoffs this year didn't adjust, and they just continued to come up short late. And that is that, like, honestly, if there was a definition of late game collapse, it would have the picture of all of the Minnesota sports logos right next to it. Because we can never get it right. I want to live to see a championship. And as my years go on, I become more and more jaded because it's the same thing year in, year out, sport in, sport out, season in, season out. Late game collapses in the playoffs that we could avoid.
Yeah.
Can I cut in here just because I'm just curious here because I don't know enough about hockey salary cap stuff.
Yes,
but to me, the way of sports right now, it is like the thing we established is that we have a freak talent in Kirill.
Yes,
and we're just simply going to have to spend money to get guys around him to win championships, and that's just going to be the way of the team the next 5 years if we want to capitalize and win a championship.
Yep,
and also by spending that money, you get that all-star hype type shit where guys want to come play with them. I don't see that trade as just such a mistake. We took a shot to win and it didn't work.
I agree. I would agree. However, you have to remember we're only going to be operating for the next 2 years with 80% of what the rest of the league is going to have in salary cap because of the buyouts that we had to make last year to surround Kirill with the talent that he was going to need this year to make him want to have, a roster talented enough for him to come back and sign a deal so we could have some of the things you're talking about in the future.
But isn't that thing that you said, which I typically subscribe to, which is all that stuff is bullshit because you can move money around and you can do things,
Not as much in the NHL.
Not nearly as much in the NHL. Okay. No, because
I don't understand as much.
Because let's be honest, outside of
honestly just like a lot easier. It's like truly the contracts are the way that they're set up.
Yes.
In the NFL, you can push money around and make
and they can push money around because of the amount of money that's in the contracts. In the NHL, they haven't reached that yet because they have a hard time filling their stadiums up until the playoffs. Like, yeah, the X is great. We can sell the X out repeatedly. We're the state of hockey. But if you're going to Nashville or Florida, like there's a lot of times maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people sitting in the stands at a regular season game. It looks like COVID really didn't change much for the NHL. They probably saved money because they didn't have to market to fans to buy tickets. So that it changes the financials of the league a little bit.
I still say that it is a sick loser mentality to not take the shot when you got it.
No, I agree.
We had a shot this year without that trade, though.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Nope.
Cam Talbot played better than Fleury down the stretch. He played much better than Fleury down the stretch, and to not even give him a shot in the playoffs is a sin. And we probably would have had a better shot against the Blues if we would have just started Talbot. If we started Talbot through 5 games right now, I'm almost willing to bet the series is over.
2-minute minor for high volume. Might go to the sin bin.
Get out of here. Like, that's the goofiest take right there is people think that, No, this was the trade that we needed to make a push through the playoffs.
As a sports fan, do you want a team that will actually roll the dice and try to win, or do you want to just sit there and play conservative? Like,
yeah,
we don't want to mess up our.
Mike, as a fan, do you want the team that is a bowl of ranch?
This is the same argument that we had. Happened, and now I'm being proven correctly.
No, you're not.
Oh,
case, dude. In this one case.
Absolutely.
To do that. This is what you want your franchise to do.
A guy that has 600 career wins, a vast majority of them in the playoffs, to be in a locker room that has next to zero playoff experience was a necessity because, and you've seen it in the games that they've won. Marc-Andre Fleury has been a great leader on ice. Don't get involved in certain things, keeping guys like his locker room presence, I think, is worth more than you're giving it credit for without him. I don't think we would have. Without him, are we sitting in the same spot? Probably. But with him, do we have a better chance to get out of this spot? Absolutely.
It is a Minnesota disease to sit there and try to protect the wallet of the freaking teams.
I'm not trying to protect the wallet.
Are you the hockey equivalent of a pole ad protector, Michael?
Stop it.
Oh my goodness.
13-0-3. That's all I got to say.
No, I agree. I think Cam Talbot definitely should have been dust. It should have been every other.
Was definitely good enough to win playoff games for us.
It should have been every other. Right? Just for the factor of, hey, we have two really good goalies on film. What are you preparing for? You don't have that much time in the NHL playoffs.
And now, because of how we handled the situation, we don't have a goalie going into next year, in my opinion.
At least not a happy one.
And Gabe, can we try free agency to get a goalie? Yeah, but it's going to be really difficult to get a goalie as good as even Cam Talbot in free agency because teams don't exactly just let their good goalies walk like we're about to.
Oh, and not to mention, we really don't have the money to sign one now. We're going to be losing an offensive piece in the offseason, like a wing, because we don't have cap space.
Was it worth sacrificing a
guy you weren't going to be able to re-sign anyways?
Let's say our shot at winning the cup this year was 10%.
Yes.
What did it? Let's say it increased to 15 to 17% with Fleury. Well, now our 10% shot the next 2 years has just dropped dramatically as well. So was it worth it? Was it worth dropping back 20 picks in the first round and move up 12? I don't know.
Do you really believe, though, that this was just like, oh, I'm going to trade for this goalie. We're going to put everything into this, and then that's just it. Like, I'm certain that there's contingencies. I'm certain he's got a trade in mind. I'm certain, like, that's how.
I'm certain we could probably get Fleury back next year on vet min.
Do we want a goalie?
Yes.
Do you want to win, Mike?
Do you want to win? Do you want playoff experience? Do you want somebody to help develop Talbot and the guy that we got at pick 20 last year in the draft?
I'm just saying there's
examples
in sports today of teams building for large winning windows and being very successful. Look at the Boston Celtics right now.
That's basketball. Give me a hockey team.
The Islanders.
And how are they doing right now against the Penguins? They're getting their asses beat.
And they'll be where next year? Right back in the playoffs with another shot.
Maybe.
Pittsburgh, that's an example right there. Team that was pretty much built from within.
Fair.
The Oilers, built from within.
Fair enough. I mean, I will say this. Credit to Kirill, Eriksson, and Greenway playing very well. Defense maybe needs to improve a little bit for game 6.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Maybe like help Fleury with the rebounds a little bit. That is the one thing about Fleury and his fit as a goalie with this team as well is Fleury gives up a lot of rebound chances.
Yes.
And we're not great at clearing the puck off of rebounds.
No, not at all. And our by the way, our power play has been atrocious.
There.
Our power play has been atrocious. Hey, what's up, Tommy? 10K Tommy says he at least deserves a chance in game 6. Who are you referring to? Are you referring to Cam Talbot or are you referring to Marc-Andre Fleury? Do we know, Gabe?
Let's see.
That's the thing, though, too, is you put Talbot in now for game 6.
You can't.
You can't, because if
he hasn't played in 2 weeks.
And they haven't been practicing because they've been playing every other day.
Exactly. And traveling. It's a bad spot. It's something that Dean Evison should have to
Dean Evison
respond
has been extremely unimpressive as well.
In the playoffs, at least.
He's made 0 adjustments.
None. I wonder if him and Mike Zimmer had dinner before the playoffs. And Zim was like, here's what you do.
Just bowl of ranch head coaches here in Minnesota.
Bowl of ranch players. Didn't spam originate here?
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's who our players are. That's our sports team. Bunch of spam. But chances for game 6 and 7?
Don't get me wrong. It would be awesome, and I'm rooting for them to still win Game 6 and 7.
Yes.
I want to be wrong about the Fleury thing.
Do you?
I do.
Do you?
I truly do.
Hold on. What happens if they storm back and they win Game 6 and 7?
Then Mike
have
then I will eat crow.
I will make him lick the bottom of his tennis shoe.
That's not going to happen. I will come on this show, look directly into the camera, and say, I was wrong, Billy Guerin. I'm sorry.
You better apologize to first ballot Hall of Fame goalie Marc-Andre Fleury as well.
It has nothing to do with Fleury, though. That's what... Oh. You're not listening to the words coming out of my mouth.
Oh, okay, Chris Tucker.
I know. Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Good reference.
Yeah, so I would say the same. I think they have a good shot tonight. I think the urgency is going to be different. I think Marc-Andre Fleury's locker room leadership will show whether he starts or not. I know Gabe put up on screen for us that there are rumors of him Dean Evison actually making some adjustments before Game 6 here tonight.
I wonder what gave him that idea.
Yeah, no shit. So his locker room presence, whether he starts or not, will probably be very evident tonight. The guys will play very disciplined hockey, a lot of 5-on-5. As long as they don't come out tight and they can avoid any late game collapses, I think we'll get to a Game 7. And if Game 7 is here at home, it's a coin flip.
I mean,
however,
the Wild have won 2 games in a row many, many times this year.
And they won 2 games in a row after being down 0-1. So, is it something that they can do? Absolutely. The numbers, however, are not in their favor. 79.8% of teams in NHL history that are that lose Game 6 in a series where it's 2-2.
Game 5, yeah.
Game 5, but yeah, not great.
You ever watch Letterkenny?
Yes.
So I just really want their hockey coach to come into the Wild locker room before the game, kick over a garbage can and go, fucking embarrassing, and then just walk out.
Yeah. Your thoughts on the Fleury trade are fucking embarrassing, but okay.
Jesus Christ.
Now we can move on to the fights. Before we do, though, or the Fight Night Fallout, let us know what you guys think the chances are for the Minnesota Wild in Games 6 and 7. Dean Evison's coaching throughout the course of the series. And everybody go ahead and give all the hate that you'd like to Michael and his Marc-Andre Fleury take. We'll get back to you after the show.
I'll take it.
What do we got next, Mike?
It's you and Gabe segment, Fight Night Fallout.
We'll bring you along for the ride. We'll ask your opinion.
Can I come in as a guest?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Special guest now.
So special guest Michael Mensing. But yeah, Fight Night Fallout. Last week, UFC 274 went through a little bit of controversy there, and Canelo lost his first fight since 2013. So shut up, Gabe. But we can start with the Michael Chandler win over Tony Ferguson. Gabe, if you've got those highlights, feel free to run them. Kind of an interesting fallout to this fight. And I actually have a poem to read to you guys about Michael Chandler. Are you ready to hear it? Body of granite, hands of stone, chin of glass. If you think he beats McGregor, you can kiss my ass. Because there's no fucking way. He almost got taken out by Ferguson in the first round of this fight with a jab. He's just sloppy on his feet. He's a great draw. It's funny. I was thinking about this when I was actually on the phone with Gabe earlier this week talking about this. And you know who Michael Chandler is? He's a younger version of Cowboy Cerrone. He can throw bombs and get knocked out. He's always an exciting fight to watch, but you just know it's going to be a war that he'll probably lose. You can never pick him as a no doubt favorite in any fight.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like that comparison.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I really enjoyed watching Cowboy Cerrone as well.
So yeah,
it kind of makes sense.
However, now the knockout of Tony Ferguson, if you have not seen it, was one of the most violent knockouts in UFC history. Gabe, have you seen it yet?
Oh yeah.
What we're just
10 times.
Oh, it's insane. What were your thoughts on this fight, Gabe? As we watch some of the highlights here,
I thought Tony Ferguson looked great.
Yes, he did,
and I don't think he is done. Even though that knockout made you sick.
Are you sure though? I mean, Gabe, you go back now. He's yeah. Oh, dude,
I said he should be done before that. I thought he was done.
Yes,
I was really how fast he was. He was really he was fighting fast. So I don't know.
I mean,
he's lost 12 of his last 13 rounds, Gabe.
He has fought
and he's 38.
The best guys in the just that's where he's existed. So I guess it's all to me. It's is he comfortable being a gatekeeper?
Yeah, exactly. He'll probably sit at 10 for the rest of his career, and he's going to have to fight all the guys coming up in the division.
Right. So that's really what I mean.
But he's 38 now, guys. How many fights do you really think he has left?
You watch the first round of the Chandler. Like if you watched the entire first round, great accuracy, great hand speed. Chandler, who is a far superior wrestler, got him on the ground. Ferguson was not in trouble at all. Like he looked really good. He just got caught with his hands apart.
So he can last 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
He also got caught.
Maybe not in a 5-round fight.
Never executed a head kick, let alone like a front head kick. Like,
that.
You would never think that's coming. I mean, that's a real. And they even said he didn't drill that.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He just saw an open. And we're gonna. That's a great segue. I actually have a clip with some audio that I don't think Mike has heard yet. Do you have that one?
Yeah,
I want to see the Michael Chandler promo. Yeah.
This one.
So after the match, Mike, Michael Chandler put on the performance that we have been hoping to see from him in the ring on the microphone, talking with Joe Rogan. And he had some interesting comments that I wanted to get your opinion on, and Gabe's opinion as well, as soon as he's got that clip queued up.
So you really think Ferguson can fight for 2 or 3 more years?
I think he's got 2 years left. I think he probably gets to 40. Here we go.
The best knockout, the best front kick knockout I've ever seen in my life.
That's saying a lot, man. We've seen a couple, so we don't even train that much. It just happened. God is good.
Did you just see the opening for that?
I did. I mean, he's so long, but he does keep his hands out on the side. So there was a lane right up the middle. We were gonna go fake shot, uppercut a lot too, but turns out he was tagging me in the first round and made some mistakes.
It doesn't get any better than this, and the amount of power you generated in this is just spectacular. I mean, he just shut right out.
Listen, I'm telling you what, man. What the fans at home will never ever
Patty the Batty
is when you're down and you have a round like I just did. It wasn't that decisive. Tony Ferguson showed up. You got to pull something from outside, inside of you, and God came through. Here we are.
You were saying something to your corner in between rounds about your right eye.
Yeah, it's the first time I've been hit, and then my vision went double vision. Don't tell the commission.
Is it back now?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think it just swelled up pretty quick. I think we're good. Listen, I'm ready.
Interesting
to
right here.
back. The main event. There is not one MMA fan on the planet that doesn't want to see me rematch you, Charles, or rematch you, Justin Gaethje.
Here we go.
To fight of the year 2021, 5 rounds for the UFC lightweight title. And Joe, if Hunter Campbell and Dana White have a momentary lapse of judgment and they give this title shot to someone else, I got one dude on my mind. Conor McGregor, you gotta come back and fight somebody. I am the most entertaining lightweight on the planet, but I want to up the stakes, Conor. I want you at your biggest, I want you at your baddest, and I want you at your best. You and me at 170.
Thoughts, Gabe?
So I really like him calling out McGregor because, I'll give McGregor this. It's the one guy he can probably beat up, maybe.
Right.
Actually beat.
Everybody has been saying, well, if he's going to go to 170, he needs a tune-up fight. Michael Chandler would be the perfect tune-up fight because it's going to take one left hand from McGregor to leave Michael Chandler with a great payday and probably, 2 concussions from one punch.
When was the last time McGregor won a fight?
Against Cowboy Cerrone.
And what year?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it 2?
It was 2.
Are you sure? I thought it was 2019. Wasn't it late 2019 that he that fight?
Yeah.
So going on 3 years since Conor McGregor has been successful in the ring.
Yeah.
He's so done. It's just hard to even
let's not start this. I'm gonna turn into Michael about the Marc-Andre Fleury trade because McGregor is a segment that we have coming up here. But honestly, do you think he's doing this? Do you think Chandler's doing this because he knows he's not going to be able to get to UFC gold at 55?
No, I think he told the truth in the ring that it's like he wants the title shot. But, if he doesn't get it, I'll take the big payday from McGregor.
Yeah,
and I mean, from his perspective, he probably,
Red Panty Night, it's still so real.
Yes.
He's 36. How many true shots at the title does he have?
Maybe
left?
One more.
So
Maybe
I would say he's basically saying, I want my title shot, my last title shot, or I want my big payday. Because doesn't seem like a dumb guy. He knows his career is coming to an end.
Yeah.
He either wants the title to go out on top.
Or he wants the money.
Fair enough. Totally makes sense.
Fair enough.
Very logical from that guy.
No, I agree. And by the way, great performer around the mic. He's we talked. Okay.
I want to watch his next fight.
Are you ready? This is what and we're not going to get sidetracked on this. This is what Dana wants guys like Francis to do. Set up your next fights. Help the promotion, and Dana will back you. Chandler has stayed in a relevant picture because he has done some of the legwork himself. If Francis does that, none of this is a question.
All I'm going to say on it, and we'll move on, I think that has the ability to help you. It shouldn't be held against you.
No, I agree. I will agree with that. Well, let's talk about his potential title shot because there was a vacant belt up for grabs.
Which, I'm sorry, but shame on you, Charles Oliveira.
110% shame on you.
Absolutely dare you.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this is just like the D-Hop popping positive thing.
Yep.
The fact that you come in a half-pound overweight is unacceptable.
Not only that, come in a half-pound overweight when the scale has already beaten you 2 to 3 times in the past in this weight division.
Right.
You're on a 9-fight win streak that would become 10, and you are looking to solidify your spot as one of the most elite fighters in history at your weight class, and to have the belt stripped of you by the scale, not by punch, not by submission, not by disqualification, by the scale. It just goes to show that even at 32, 33 years old now, a guy that's been in the UFC since his early 20s still has a light year of growing up to do.
Dude,
unacceptable.
A half
pound
is literally like 5 laps around a gym wearing sweatpants and a hoodie.
Oh,
that's it.
By the way, he was still over a half pound after they gave him an additional hour because he was over by more than a half pound at the initial weigh-in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. In my opinion, I wrestled in my life. I'm not going to say I was the best wrestler or have a ton of experience doing so, but
you were the best wrestler.
I was awful, actually, Gabe.
Mattress wrestling doesn't count.
It was just like a whole lot of arms coming at you, just gangly as fuck. And but with weigh-ins, dude, it's not hard.
No.
If my buddy who's a 17-year-old kid can put 10 layers on and lose 5 pounds throughout the school day for the meet that night, to be a professional athlete and come in a half pound or more up, it's unexcusable. It's
I agree.
It's terrible.
I agree.
Don't you think that just speaks to how far he comes down? I guess he's read that. How far
he's a 170 pounder. I'm sorry. You look at him at weigh-ins and he looks drier than any other 155 pounder I've ever seen. And he's so tall. His bones have to weigh more than the majority of 155 pounders.
It might be harder for him to maintain that weight. And get down to that weight. And I totally understand that he might be fighting harder than the other 155ers.
Yep.
But I didn't make that decision for him.
Exactly.
You didn't make that decision for him. The UFC didn't make that decision for him. So if he's going to fight at 155 and hold the title at 155, get your ass under 155.
I agree.
It's not hard.
Now let's talk
more. Come out about the scale stuff though.
Yeah,
because
so
they said many fighters were.
They all said it was a half pound over. But here's the difference. Chael Sonnen made a great point about this on his show on YouTube, which I tune into frequently, and he said, while it is a controversy, you have to travel with your own scale. And it came out that Charles Oliveira was not traveling with his own scale. So the first time that he saw calibrated weight for himself on that weekend was at those weigh-ins. That is what is unacceptable to me. You have to be able to step on a scale the night before and know that you're there. And if you're not traveling with one that is calibrated to you, like every other high-level UFC fighter does, then it is on you as the fighter.
I'm telling you. Wrestled in high school. Not a good wrestling program at my high school. These kids, these 16, 17-year-old kids, before stepping on the scale would say, I'm about to weigh in at 143. Boom, 143.
Yep.
They knew.
So
to be a professional athlete in a sport like this and not know what you're going to weigh in at is just mind-blowing to me.
Who has stepped on a UFC scale over 30 times at this point in his career and knows what it feels like to not make weight 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to me that this happened.
All right, so to the fight itself.
Right.
Gaethje, who is a heavy throwing hand style favorite, gets in there against Oliveira with an opportunity to win the belt. Oliveira can't win it.
Right.
He's been stripped of the title. The best that he can do is win and become the #1 contender.
With a vacant belt.
steps in there, has a pretty decent looking first round. They start to throw hands, they bang with each other for a little bit, and then I will say this though, credit to Oliveira on this. He is the most frightening man outside of maybe Usman and Adesanya in the sport right now. You get in there with him, he's either going to put you out with his hands or he's going to get on your neck and choke you out. And all week, Gaethje said, I won't tap. I'm not a tapper. I won't quit. Oliveira is the quitter. And Oliveira beat him at his own game. So what, and I wanted Gabe's opinions on this. What do you think should happen to Gaethje and what do you think should happen to Oliveira as this moves forward? Is it a rematch now?
So, well, first of all, I want to comment on that. Oliveira is the scariest man, one of them in the league. I totally disagree with that. Yes, he is skilled like that. He deserves, but there's something about him that is missing. And it's the reason everyone keeps thinking he's going to lose because he's great. He's well-rounded at everything, but there's just something about him. He doesn't have that mystique. He doesn't have that, I don't think anyone goes in there fearful. I think they all go in careful and they respect the hell out of him. But he's not Ngannou or these guys, or even
Francis isn't a part of the UFC right now, so I don't know why you're bringing his name up.
Sure, but because he's scary.
Francis,
yeah, but he's absolutely the champ, deserves what he has. I think that this screwed up the division
a lot.
It's just, I don't know who I'm excited to see fight. I'm not excited to see Oliveira fight, even though he's great. I don't know what it is about him that just, it doesn't move the needle in the same way.
Is it the hesitancy that you don't know whether or not you're going to be able to put faith in him with consistency?
With the weigh-in stuff?
Yes.
For me, it's not. For me, it's more about his game. And it's so weird to totally acknowledge that he's the most well-rounded, that he's the most but it's just I'd still rather see Gaethje fight again, in a sense, because at least I'm just saying what you're going to get.
Yeah, right. But you're going to get a war.
Is now a gatekeeper at 5.
Yeah, he's done. I think his title opportunities are finished. Gaethje can't get another one at this point. Khabib's beat him up. Oliveira choked him out. Even that fight against Chandler, as much as he put Chandler out, Chandler got some shots in, questionable. I think the next steps, for Islam Makhachev, not Makhachev, the other Russian.
Yeah, it's Makhachev. He's at 4 right now.
I'd love to see Gaethje gatekeep against Islam.
Yeah,
someone like that. That'd be awesome.
So Islam.
What about Dustin
Poirier? I think he's done too.
He's at number 2 in the ranking.
But here's the thing: he's not coming back to 155.
No, he's
going to 170. Okay. He's going to 170.
Fair enough.
That if he was going to stay at 155, he would have fought already, so he could keep his body down at that lower weight, and he just hasn't. I think he knows that once again. Like when he was fighting at 145 or whatever that the weight below 155 is, when he fought Conor, he's at a point in his life now to where him being down at that low of a weight makes him very fragile. So he needs to move up.
So
again.
Who do you see as being?
So who fights Oliveira for the title? Because Oliveira is the number 1 contender.
Makhachev would be the highest name.
Makhachev probably is. He's probably next.
Because it's Oliveira, Poirier, Gaethje, who you think are both done. Makhachev. Beneil Dariush.
Dariush would be a good one.
Would be a good one.
That would be a good one.
But I think
then Michael Chandler is next. So maybe Chandler does get a title fight.
Maybe he does at 155, but Chandler wants to go to 170. You want to know why? Because
didn't he just
challenged McGregor at 170? So this is a perfect.
If he didn't get a title fight, though, right?
Correct. But this is where things get very interesting. This is a great transition. Gabe, can you put up the tweet that I had at the end of the UFC 274? So here is what it said. Say what you want about what happened. The real winner of UFC 274 was Conor McGregor. He was in the mouth of every fighter on fight weekend. The Bronx Oliveira wants him for a title fight. Dana has promised him a title fight if it's available to him upon return. Michael Chandler wants him at 170 as a tune-up fight for the payday. And Usman wants him for the money because he doesn't have a whole lot longer left. And I think, who's the guy that just fought Gilbert Burns, Gabe?
I know exactly who the fuck you're talking about. Now I can't think of
Right, and I can't think of his name. But after the showing that he had against Gilbert Burns, he's still one fight away.
Chimaev.
Khamzat Chimaev. Yep. He's still one fight away from being, I think, title ready, or for Dana wanting to put the strap on him. And we've talked about this. I think Conor's the logical step for Usman, who wants a payday, because he's probably not going to get Canelo, especially after what just happened there. So what is, if you're Conor McGregor, this was my question to everybody. If you're Conor McGregor and these are your options, which one do you take?
I think
Well, if I was thinking like Conor McGregor thinks, it would be the one with the biggest payday.
And the biggest payday is going to be the Kamaru Usman fight.
Yeah, because you don't have, how many fights does Conor have left if he continues to lose?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
If he takes the Usman fight, makes millions, and loses again,
then he goes back to boxing. The next fight for him,
be getting close to done, dude.
His aura is done.
His last
I'm
win
sorry,
was
I
2019. Why are we still talking about this?
I'm sorry. Both of you are dead wrong. Talk to anybody who covers, follows, or involved in the UFC. Red Panty Night is still the most realistic thing in fighting. Conor is the unicorn in sports.
But dude, they have 3 people calling to fight him. They're lining up to fight him.
Yes.
Because he's dead. It's because they want to get an easy
It's because they want the payday.
Right. But they're not stupid. They don't like just walk into suicide fights. When Conor was coming up and kicking ass, nobody was lining up to call him out like this.
That's fair.
Red Panty Night.
That's fair.
That's what I'm saying is he's vulnerable. And I'm not saying they all think he's an easy fight, but everyone knows he's vulnerable. And I honestly think that this fucks with his head, that everyone is, I know he likes the attention, but deep in the recesses of his mind, he's got to be like, why does everyone want to fight me?
I don't know, man. I don't think Conor's that kind of guy. Mike, what would you so you said that you'd take the Usman fight then? If you're Conor.
If I was Conor.
Gabe, what would you do?
Oh, if I was him, I would take Chandler. He needs a win in the worst way.
See, that's what I would do if I were in his shoes. I just think
no, I'm saying what would you do?
What would I do? I would do the Chandler fight to get a win. What do I think Conor is going to do? I think Conor's all about the money.
I think Conor,
and he's going to do the Usman fight.
I think Conor, who is still in a very unique position where no matter what happens, the minute he is back on UFC roster, in the USADA pool, whatever, he still calls all of his own shots because everybody does line up to fight him. And I think
for now, if he just keeps losing, dude.
And Conor is always kind of has a plan. And an interview came out about 2-3 months ago, and he said for legacy, I was the first 2-belt champion, but there has been 0 3-weight division champions. He wants Usman. I'm sorry. He wants Usman because even if he loses at 170, you will get a very similar response from the fans than Canelo when he, who we're going to talk about here in a minute, who moves up a bunch of weight classes and then he loses. Does it really damage you? No. But do you have the opportunity to do something nobody else has done? Absolutely. If I was Conor, I'd take the 170 fight against Chandler. I would book it now. Market the living shit out of it. Put on a show, knock Chandler out cold, and call out Usman because you want to talk about an opportunity to sell and probably the most pay-per-views in UFC history. That's what you'd be looking at.
What did you say? There was a word you said that Conor was concerned with in your thing. He was
legacy.
Legacy, yeah. How is his legacy enhanced by getting his shit pushed in by Usman?
But I don't think it's enhanced, but I don't think it damages it.
It damages it.
No, it doesn't.
If he goes and because what he now still gets to be in the conversation for a GOAT, right?
Yeah.
If you face another GOAT and you get run the fuck over like he would get he's not stupid. He's coming out of this injury. By the way, his rehab is behind, and they're thinking like maybe 4 months behind. Like it's looking bad.
But it's a little bit different because he's got full fusion in his leg, which is not something that they were expecting and is not something that's common. So that's what's putting it behind.
What's full fusion?
So the bone actually is it's fused all the way back together naturally, where they think they're going to be able to pull the pins and rods and it pretty much go back to being a fully functioning piece. Before that, they thought, okay, it'll get close and they're going to have to leave those things in and that will hinder him. But they've taken the slow road and he's going to be as close to new as you can get with the injury that he had.
Well, Kavanaugh was saying that he's wants to be in the gym now doing like at least hands and arms.
He is.
They're not. No,
he is.
He said that I just read it yesterday that he's not doing at least what they wanted to do, I guess. Maybe
he was on Twitter yesterday hitting the bags.
He was on Twitter 2 days ago smoking weed.
Yeah.
He was on, like, I mean, he's a fucking mess, man. I can't even believe you believe in this guy at all. I get he sells tickets.
This is Emmitt Smith on the Cardinals. All it is a big name.
Stop it.
That's all it is.
Oh, he was a corpse at that point.
Like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Conor McGregor is close to being a corpse, to be honest.
Is this not him moving around, training MMA, hitting the bag?
Rocky.
Is this not him moving around?
That's a still picture, so technically he's not moving around.
Okay, you get what I'm saying though, but he is on his way back, regardless of recovery
it looks like
time.
he's shirtless in a gym punching things. Yes,
there's a video version of it.
His wife needs to do the Adrian thing of just you can't win, Conor.
I don't know, man. Conor's not that guy. Conor will die on his sword.
Well, I think we're about to watch him die in the ring.
Well, let us know what you guys think from all the fallout from UFC 274. What do you think Michael Chandler's next move is after his win over Tony Ferguson? What do you do with the polarizing Charles Oliveira? And if you were Conor McGregor, what fight do you take next? And last but not least, I'll let Gabe have the floor here because I know this is something he wants to talk about. Canelo takes his first loss since 2013.
Yes, it was an absolutely wonderful, wonderful weekend of boxing. I didn't even watch thankfully, Nick came to the rescue and tried to let me see that fight.
Yep.
And but it's incredible. It's incredible that he lost. I love it. He was, whatever. He is a great fighter. I get it.
One of the greatest.
He talks like a small person. I was gonna say different. And I don't know. I love that this guy just truly dispatched of him in a decisive way.
This was the first fight that I watched, and I watch pretty much all of Canelo's fights. He's the only one that truly brings me to the television to watch boxing outside of Ryan Garcia, right?
Yeah.
And I've watched a lot of his last fights. I watched the Plant fight. I watched a few fights before that. And at middleweight, he looked like himself. Great head movement, light on his feet, plenty of power. Him coming in at light heavyweight, I think, is his ceiling. And especially at his age, I don't think he can afford to be giving up that much size as a guy who's 5'8". It was the first time he just looked slow, looked uncomfortable. Just like in boxing, when you're fighting at the level that he's fighting at, it is split seconds between getting out of the way and getting knocked out. Definitely. In that art form. Definitely. So like I said, does this retract from Canelo's legacy? He's 57-2. Let's put this into context. Floyd Mayweather was the last person that he lost to, who is 50-0 and cherry-picked all of his fights. Right. Canelo is 57-2. Is 50. I don't care what you say about Triple G. Don't care. Don't care. Until Triple G comes up with an actual win where he puts Canelo down or it gets to the judges and he gets a win. He's 57-2 and he's unified middleweight, the weight class below middleweight. And I mean, all he does is take out title defenders or guys that have other titles in unified divisions. To me, still one of the top 3 fighters in boxing history. And I think you'll get a different version of Canelo in the rematch because you're going to get it.
You say top
He's not even as good as James Toney.
Bullshit.
Yes, he's more disciplined. Yes, he's done
better head movement, better power.
Dude, are you kidding me? Skill-wise, listen, he's a top 15 all time.
Oh my, he is. 15's way too low.
Recency bias.
No.
Yes, it is. It is recency bias.
Who's your number 1?
Ali.
Okay, who's your number 2?
Tyson.
Who's your number 3? Canelo?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for me, and I do this and maybe I'm a little different. I do this in football. I do this in all sports. I think it's tiered. I think there's always a clear-cut 1. I think there's a clear-cut 2, and I think there's usually about a bunch of guys at 3, 4, 5, 6 that you could interchange at any given moment. Right? I think Canelo, in a lot of arguments, could go as high as 3. Look at all the divisions that he's unified titles in. Look at where he started versus where he is now. The consistency in which he has fought at to an advanced stage. You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Put him against Ray Jones Jr. in his prime versus Canelo.
And what weight class did Jones Jr. fight at? Light heavyweight.
No. He started as a as a welterweight.
Yeah, he was smaller when he first started.
Yeah, like most of his
actually knew that.
career. Most of his career.
I would take Roy Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
That's why we say it's recency bias. He's not that. He's just not that.
Okay, let's put this into context real quick though. Because of the losses to Triple G, Gabe, who is a Triple G fan, is a Canelo hater.
No.
Yes, you are. You've admitted it to me.
But I hate him for many other reasons. But yeah, I am a hater for sure.
So that tilts your bias, and you've also absorbed more boxing.
I don't say ridiculous shit like he's top 3.
I mean, I would say I'm pretty unbiased.
Okay.
Having been like just a casual fan of boxing, right?
Yeah.
He's slipping to top 25 for me. I can't even.
Now you're being blasphemous.
Maybe, but
throughout my lifetime, there's been a lot of big name boxers because that's typically the only names that I hear.
Correct.
I don't view, and this is just my opinion, I don't view the boxers that he's doing this against as being as skilled as the boxers even in the 2000s that Roy Jones Jr. faced. I just don't see the wins as being as impressive.
Is that the case because he's road graded every single person that he's fought outside of Triple G, who are all belt holders?
I mean, I just don't think.
But who are they?
Exactly my point.
Who are they?
They're title holders. They're undefeated fighters a lot of times when he fights them.
Like it's almost not against Canelo. It's against the sport of boxing.
Okay, so you can't detract from his legacy for that.
Sure.
But his talent level all time can take a hit because of that.
Yes, exactly. He doesn't have those things. Like what? He's better than Sugar Ray?
At middleweight, I would put him up against any middleweight in history. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Sugar Ray
I disagree, buddy.
Just annihilated him.
Love you, but
and Hearns, even Hearns, his length would annihilate this guy. Like,
look at the numbers.
I mean, him versus Rocky Balboa, though. Like, let's get down to the next question. No,
Rocky just comes in too heavy, I think.
Oh, maybe a little.
Yeah,
maybe a little. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it will be very telling what you get out of the rematch. They're going to do the rematch. It's probably going to be late this year at light heavyweight and see where it falls. And if he comes back and road grades Bivol, we're going to be having a very different conversation. A very, very different conversation.
So I just Googled Canelo all-time rankings.
Yes.
I found a list that came up. Here, let me put it on screen. Top 10 middleweights of all-time middleweights.
Okay.
Canelo, number 10.
Okay, let's see some of the other ones.
What?
Bernard Hopkins.
Triple G's,
Bernard Hopkins. Sugar Ray Robinson. Carlos Monzon. Hagler. Oh my God, Hagler. No Hearns. I mean, I don't mind them not being on the list. I mean them being above or not above Canelo. Like, because I think they're better than.
But you put Canelo in your top 3 boxers of all time.
You know what? Because actually, Tyson Fury probably comes in at 4 for me right now, or at 3 for me right now. Canelo probably comes in at 4.
So you had Ali and then Mike Tyson 2.
Yep. Fury 3.
Mike Tyson 2.
When Mike Tyson was good, there was nobody on the planet who was going to beat him.
You won't find a bigger Mike Tyson fan than me, but he's not. I mean, I put him top.
Okay, so see, now even Mike's eyes get a little wide on that comment. Nobody was getting in the way of Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was mentally healthy.
Totally agree, but you know what? He didn't beat any big champion. Like,
that's not his fault. There were no.
I agree. Listen,
okay, so like think about it this way though, dude.
No.
Okay, so think about college football.
Yes.
If you go 14-0 and win a national championship.
Yes.
But the teams you played throughout the game, throughout the year.
So Bama?
And your competition in the national championship was Cincinnati, who somehow snuck through.
So Bama?
And then you're doing a top 10 list of best teams of all time.
So Bama?
Does that not hurt that team? It does for sure.
A little bit, but when you do it year in and year out, and there's this is like are we knocking Tom Brady? Hold on. Are we knocking Tom Brady, who played in a atrocious AFC East for 19 years and was a cut above everybody he played with because he played in that division? No, he's still the greatest of all time.
He is the greatest of all time because of what he did in the playoffs, which doesn't have to do anything to do with his division.
Which would be no different than Canelo fighting title holders.
But his record of division titles is definitely held against him because he played in the worst division throughout those division title years. Yes.
I'm sorry.
You know who the best football team is all time?
Who?
That Boise team.
The 1972 Miami Dolphins.
No, I'm saying
Undisputed.
like the best all time is that Boise football team. Like
that beat Oklahoma?
Yes. Yeah, my God. They
In the
were
Fiesta
great.
Bowl?
They were like, yeah. No, I'm just saying like they were undefeated in a shit division too. Like you don't sit there and crow about those
They
people.
were undefeated
Like,
that year.
great.
Was that the best team in the nation?
Right,
Probably not.
That's what I'm saying.
That's actually a very good point.
I just think, especially because he's done it in okay, so he's top 10 in middleweights. You go to welterweight, and then you go to light heavyweight where he's also got belts. He's had multiple careers that other fighters can't attain in different weight classes. He has been for the last 10 years the best pound for pound fighter in boxing.
If I were to have to say my opinion, I would probably put him top 10. I wouldn't put him top 3
if you
though.
say 10 years though, man, you're intersecting with he
beat
blaming
Golovkin.
him. Oh God, dude, come on! You
What's
can't.
okay,
no one who watches that fight thinks that he beat Golovkin.
So
Truly.
I watched that
What
fight
happened?
and think he beat Golovkin.
Oh my goodness,
What
I
happened?
can't even talk to this guy.
Big
For
controversy.
real, you know, this is a well, whatever.
No, okay. From the side of a Golovkin fan, tell your story.
No,
Tell us your strife.
We got to
I
go
wanna
quick
talk
though,
about
because we got to go to hot
James
corner.
Toney
But
went
like,
from
what happened?
145, no, 138 or 144 to heavyweight champion.
Who, Golovkin did?
No, James Toney. So you're talking about
He went from 144 to heavyweight champion.
yes.
Did
That
he
is
unify
super
the
impressive.
division
He did
when
not
he's on his way?
Whoa, hold on. He was a monster. And I'm telling you, if you just watch his eye test, now James Toney is an absolute fucking nutcase in his head. He literally didn't train. I'm not saying he's a better all-time the grind. I'm just saying Canelo's skill level is never, he's a technician and he's brilliant and he's great. But he's not that skilled. Just
He's
like you
a
guys
bigger
say about
Pacquiao.
Tyson. There's guys who come along, oh my God, Pacquiao. There's so many
Floyd
guys.
you didn't even bring up Floyd Mayweather with your top 3 or your top 5.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because
Actually,
he's at
Floyd was on
he's
that
at
list.
7 for me.
That list I pulled up was weird because Floyd wasn't on it either. Now that you say that, but yeah.
Oh, good. So it's almost like the boxing community is never united on anything.
Well, it's true, but except they are united on one thing. Canelo is not the third ranked all time.
That's not true because I'm sitting here saying it and I'm part of the boxing
You
community.
can Google it all fucking the rest of your life. You'll never find another list with that on there.
Bullshit. Bullshit. A decade of being, fine, at minimum, the last 5 years of being the best pound for pound fighter. You can't take him outside the top 10.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick, for supporting me. I think.
Is that
Yeah.
how he talks?
I mean, he's
Yes,
very,
he is
very
voice.
Mexican. Very Mexican.
No, it's not the Mexican thing. It's the pitch. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Whatever. That's why.
Are we going to do this? Because Mike
I have a
Tyson
stutter.
sounded like a Furby with a lisp. And we're not knocking Tyson.
Yeah, but if Canelo sounds like he works for Willy Wonka, that's just funny.
It is just funny.
Stop.
Yeah.
Like, Willy Wonka, really? You're going to turn him into an Oompa Loompa because he's a little orange?
Oh, it wasn't even the orange thing. It was the voice thing. But wow, if you want to go there.
God
You know,
damn.
To just cover this really quickly, though, it is very interesting how he fought that fight. Like it's a
He was
very
slow. He was a
odd,
step slow.
But even like standing in front, like I'd love to hear. I haven't read where they talked about his strategy.
They wanted to fight him like he fought Callum Smith.
What about the other light heavyweight he fought? Or what was his name? With the Russian name.
I know
That
who you're
guy?
thinking of,
What
but
was
I
his
can't
name?
remember his name. But no,
Whatever. Okay.
but yeah, Callum Smith was the theory here because he has a very tight guard. You'll see in a lot of these highlights, Canelo's throwing that rear right hand to the bicep and shoulder. They were trying to get him to drop that hand a little bit or overcommit to that punch and wear him out, and then be able, because Canelo in all of his fights recently will set things up, and then at about round 7 he goes and guys fall. That has been his formula for the last 2-3 years. And it just didn't come to fruition here. And he was getting hit a lot because he was a step slow. So it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he actually looks kind of a little bit old for the first time.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And by the way, though, it is worth pointing out too. This guy who he fought, whose name I can't even remember offhand.
Bivol.
Yeah, he's not the most highly touted.
He is
prospect.
undefeated though.
He's 20-0, and now he's got to win against Canelo.
That means just nothing. I mean, now it does because of that.
Exactly.
But there's many.
Same thing, Gabe, because of the way boxing works. If the rematch happens and Bivol beats Canelo again, now we're talking about Bivol as a guy who's going to go to unify the lightweight title, the light heavyweight title, and then what?
He'll lose to the other Russian, who's much more of a killer.
Do you know that for sure? No, because he's got 2 wins against the pound-for-pound best fighter in boxing.
Who were the guys that he beat before that you're so
I
impressed
don't
with
know. I don't know.
Right.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you I don't know.
I know, and I wouldn't expect you to know. You know why? Because no one knows their names.
Because that's how boxing works.
All right,
exactly.
so let's go into Hot Corner.
Yeah, we got to. I could do this with Gabe all day.
I have a quick question though. Do
fun.
you think? So I'll go away from the Willy Wonka reference. I just have to make one more joke. Do you think Canelo is making Keebler cookies again yet, or is he still on his vacation? Oh.
Mike's done.
Hungry.
Mike's
all
done.
right. So Hot Corner, first segment. Damian's dark horse trades.
Yeah. Gabe, do you have the news? I guess the internet news clipping that I sent you for Damian Lillard.
God, you guys are on me right away after these segments. It's hard to get it that fast, guys.
Well, maybe if you weren't over there doing the stroke and blow on Triple G, we'd be a little bit more on time.
Let's see here.
Gabe, it's okay to be slow sometimes. Take your
not
time
even
in
slow.
some things, right?
Just you're asking right.
So this comes out from Fansided. Damian Lillard says, wouldn't fight a trade from Portland. So goes from about as loyal as they can come last year to I wouldn't fight it if they tried to trade me. And inside this article, but it was way too long and really didn't sink their teeth into it the way that I hoped they would have. Guess who one of the dark horse trade teams was for Dame? The Minnesota Timberwolves. We were talking last week.
Dude, that would be nasty.
We were talking last week. You want to trade D'Angelo and get yourself a guy who's going to show up in clutch moments and help develop mentality-wise? Probably not only Anthony Edwards, but this is probably the only guy in the league that mentally could have a positive impact on Cat. With the way that he plays in the clutch. With the way they'd be able to operate the pick and roll.
So over Cat at this point.
Oh, I know. And we got, by the way, loved the fan interactions on Facebook last week with our Timberwolves article. Okay, I know everybody's got some opinions. Keep that coming. As I said, we will respond to you. But I had a trade I wanted to pose to you. Are you ready? If you gave up D'Angelo Russell, Naz Reid in a first, would you take Dame?
From a Timberwolves perspective, definitely. I don't know if the Blazers are going to take that.
The Blazers are right now. They would need to replace the point guard. They would need a pick for the young core.
D-Russ.
But they'll get a pick.
Yeah.
And they need rebounding. And Naz Reid is a rebounder and a 5 that can stretch the floor, and something that him and Yusuf Nurkic would be a great pair together.
They would. He's not a great rebounder.
He's better. Their best rebounder averaged 7.4 rebounds per game last year.
Yeah, Naz could probably post about that.
8 or 9 maybe, if he got more minutes.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like I said, his game is not rebounding by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he is one of the tallest guys on the floor, and he is athletic. So in theory, he should be able to rebound.
More minutes, more development. Do you think that that's a doable trade, or what do you see as what would you give up to Portland that you think would be acceptable to get Dame back in return?
I mean, from a Timberwolves perspective, I would do that trade in a heartbeat. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the comment that I want
up though,
it would be D'Angelo Russell, Naz Reid, and a first-round pick.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that trade. That's what I'm saying. From a Timberwolves perspective, I would do that trade. Yes, I would. Yeah.
How much more would you give up? Is there anybody else that you'd be like, yeah, I'd move that?
Malik Beasley.
I think
like if they wanted to throw him into that trade as well,
and that takes care of your cap problem and your minutes with the guys that are developing right there.
Yeah. I do want to comment, just like saying he wouldn't fight a trade is by no means requesting a trade.
Oh, no. But Dame is too proud to request a trade from Portland.
The reason I really like Damian Lillard as a player is because he understands who he is and his role. He is a player for an organization who basically owns him, right? So just coming out and saying I wouldn't fight a trade is just saying, yes, I understand I could be traded, in my opinion. And that's all it is.
And low-key kind of saying, hey, if you want me, come and get me without being a brash asshole about it.
I mean, yeah, but does he have a no-trade clause?
Yes.
Okay, so basically what this is saying is,
hey, if you want me, come and get me.
Waive my no-trade clause.
To the right situation.
To the right situation.
So that's going to be something to watch this offseason.
I didn't know that he had a no-trade.
You guys really take this as like just an inert comment? Because I feel like if you're in that fan base, that is like a fuck yeah guy kind of thing. Like, for real. If you heard Anthony Edwards say that right now, that'd be devastating to hear.
I mean, I think it was specifically asked though, and
yes.
the word fight in quotes twice, which means he specifically used that word, right?
Yeah.
So he was asked directly,
sure.
How do you feel about a trade of you moving out of Portland? And he just, I wouldn't fight it.
And if you're looking at this in hindsight, going back to last year or 2 years previous, where he's fuck the super teams, I'm never leaving Portland, this is where I die.
Yeah.
From him to go from that stance to I would not fight a trade is a vast departure in a league where
I just don't
stuff like this is more impactful than when Deebo Samuel unfollows the Niners. When comments like this get made in the NBA, guys get moved.
That's a canned. They all know to do canned answers of, oh, this is my team. I'm here to we get mad because they're so stereotypical. So for him to step out, he knew what he was doing.
Oh, absolutely.
I felt that pit in his stomach when he said it. Like, oh,
I still think there's a spectrum, right? He could have said, yeah, that would be great. Or I'll request a trade.
I need to go somewhere where I can win.
Or all he said was, I wouldn't fight it.
This is leaving. It's not leaving the front door open. It's leaving the front door unlocked. And if you are willing to twist the handle, you might like what you find.
Yeah, and I don't think that if I was a Portland fan, I would not be upset with Damian Lillard.
No, he's a late round draft pick who has elevated that franchise to far above where they have deserved to be for the last 8 years.
Well, his house is literally burning and he's inside of it and has kept the door locked for all this time.
I'm fine.
And he's just unlocked the door.
Yeah.
Still burning inside of his home.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I wouldn't be that upset.
Hey, A-Rod, win at all costs guy. Mark Laurie, pay attention. I would check this out. I would vet this all the way out if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's Dame time. It's Dame time in Minnesota.
How many years in? What year is this for him? Is he 8 years in or?
How old's Dame right now? We'll have Mike look it up.
I can look it up too. Yeah, okay.
I think he's 30 at this point. If I'm
probably 8 or 9 years in the league.
He is
right?
31.
He's 31.
He was drafted in 2012, so 9 years.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years. Good call again.
10th year, yeah.
And has done everything that has needed to be done for that franchise. Everything that has needed to be done.
That sounds like more. He knows what he's saying.
Yeah.
But I acknowledge Mike. He's not being inflammatory, but he is being depressed guy.
He's a respectful, Dame is the most respectful superstar in the NBA. He is not LeBron. He's not Anthony Davis. He's not Zion. He's not a lot of these guys will come out and tell you straight, I don't want to be here. Dame will never do that. Dame has never been that guy.
And that's why I have respect for Dame, is because this is his way of almost requesting for a trade and just saying.
And if you're Portland, just like I said with Kat last week or Russell last week, get out in front of this. What's better? You getting something in return? Or him getting to the end of this deal, you still not having a ring, and you getting nothing in return, and him just leaving in free agency.
Yeah, we do have to make one correction. Dame was not a late round pick. He was actually picked 6th overall.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So late in the very first.
He was a late lottery pick.
Yeah, he was a late top 5 pick.
10. Yep.
Late lottery. All right. Let us know what you guys think is in store for Dame's future after these comments. And should the Minnesota Timberwolves be attacking this or vetting this out to the most of their ability? Me and Mike say yes, because it's Dame time in Minnesota. And we will get back to you here live on the show or afterwards. And then the next one we will talk about is our price has gone up. The asking price for this show has gone up because the asking price for sports media personalities was strapped to a rocket and shot into the stratosphere earlier this week with Tom Brady signing a 10-year, $375 million deal with Fox to report or be an analyst on games. Mike, your thoughts?
I saw a tweet, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember who tweeted it. Andrew Hawkins,
okay,
I think is what his name was. And he had tweeted at Tom Brady and congratulated him on joining a list of former professional football players who made more money broadcasting than they did in their career. Brady's career earnings are like 330 something.
$361 million by the end of his contract with Tampa.
Yeah, so it's at like 339 right now or something like that. So he'll make more with his analyst deal than he will throughout his entire NFL career. And Andrew Hawkins was making a joke about that and ended the tweet with, "Congratulations on a mediocre NFL career." And I just thought that was really funny. I think it's very cool for Tom Brady to, have this opportunity to make that type of money. He's already probably a billionaire with the TB12 and the dieting and all this stuff that he does outside of football, and Gillette and, all the sponsorships and things that he does.
Do you know what this is another great?
I'm excited as hell to actually see him in this role.
His brain, we're going to get to see football
it's
like
Romo
never before.
2.0. He's probably better than
I'm
Romo
glad you
being
said
Romo.
that.
But what I've really enjoyed about Tom Brady over the past couple years specifically is Tom Brady was the blandest bowl of ranch you've ever seen while playing in New England.
And got to Tampa.
And getting in Tampa under Bruce Arians, and just he kind of started to let it all hang out a little bit. And that's just going to continue to happen as he becomes an analyst. And I actually like Tom Brady now that I'm starting to get to know who Tom Brady is.
Absolutely.
Instead of just this Belichick puppet.
He's not Tommy Foxborough anymore.
No.
You know what this is a great example of? This is a great example of the same thing that Tom did when he was in the league, which is he let a bunch of people go before him. He was a guy that a bunch of people slept on, and then once he got on the scene, he was like, "Fuck you guys, I'm gonna outdo everybody." Like, he took one look at what Tony Romo was getting paid, and he was like, "You think that guy's smart? Wait till you get me on TV for the next 10 years," and just blew everything out of the water. Yes, Gabe.
You guys like listening to Tom Brady talk?
Oh, love Tom Brady in his press conferences now that he's in Tampa. Yeah.
Yes. I used to hate it.
Would you rather listen to him or Peyton Manning now that we know that Peyton's so funny?
But here's the thing.
Yes.
Peyton has always been a little awkward on camera or to the media to me.
I would watch Monday Night Football. Like, if they put Tom with Eli and Peyton, I would watch every single Monday Night Football game. I don't care who the matchup is.
Just thinking of you pleasuring yourself to NFL quarterbacks like that. That was too happy the way you said that. Like, for real, the Manning, when I think of this as a business thing, I would rather have the Manning brothers than Tom Brady. Why? Because he's won more football? That's why you want to listen to him talk? He's boring. That guy is so boring. Even when he's one of those people who gets rewarded for like, "Oh, you're so boring." So then when you say anything even marginally like interesting, then people go, "Oh, wow, he's got such a good personality." He sucks. He's boring.
Nah, I think you're going to be in the vast minority in this conversation, Gabe.
Wrong one.
All right.
Pay no attention to the to the person behind the curtain. No, I'm very excited for this. I think, think of some of the pairings, the Super Bowls that he's going to get to call, the way that he's going to get to tell the truth about what.
God, do you think he's going to get the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl is usually pretty special, dude.
Here's what I will tell you, because Fox has the Super Bowl this year. Here's what I would say: if Brady's not in it, expect him to make an appearance broadcasting.
All right.
How do you guys get, like, what did he do? What did this billionaire do to make you guys somehow root for him? Like, as if, like,
the most lovable guy ever. I'm not ever. Like, that's probably not accurate, right? But like TB12 for me, like the Man in the Arena series, which I watched every episode very closely of, went a long way for me, getting to see behind the curtain of who he is.
Yeah,
seeing
the Brady 6 documentary.
The Brady 6 documentary. Being able to watch last year, he had a guest spot on radio every Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. Being able to see that side of him, or him go on the shop with, even though I hate LeBron James, go on there and like be a person instead of this manufactured
silhouette of a quarterback that plays football for the Patriots.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Under the evil empire guise of Bill Belichick, you got to see who he was. It will take some people who still have that viewpoint of him a while to understand who he is.
Gabe, believe it or not, like, if you legitimately sat down at a bar and had a beer or two with Tom Brady, I would be willing to bet that you would walk out going, that he's not as bad as I thought. I'm not saying you would fall in love with him.
No, I think Gabe would wind up in the same category with Tom Brady that he is in with Triple G.
I think I would with the Mannings for sure, and I did not like Peyton Manning. I did not like him for a long time.
See, and I was a huge Peyton Manning fan
and
growing up, and I used to hate Tom Brady because I was such a Manning fan.
Yeah.
right?
I hated them both, and I still don't care for Manning on the Manning cast.
On like the Monday Night Football, you don't
Yeah,
think
not
that's
a huge
funny?
fan. Not a huge fan.
What is it you
Nick
don't
doesn't
like?
have a
I
great
don't like-
sense of humor.
I don't like the production value, and I think that's what it is for me. I think you could do a better job producing that.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Even
kind
though
of
it's
a dig at the
backhanded,
same
but
time.
Yeah, no, I get it. But
All
you
right.
know, at least that producer there has talent to work with. You know.
I'm going to come through this wall.
Hey, at
Gabe.
least you have one good athlete to work with, Gabe. Are you going to jump over the table now, too? All right. So with that, let us know what you guys think about Tom Brady being
Major
an analyst
talent.
with Fox after more than likely this football season.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to transition to our sub-segment.
With
under this
depth.
segment of Hot Corner. It's called Would You Rather in the NFL. This is a segment I have been looking forward to since
Wednesday.
Monday night.
Monday, yeah. When I called you about it. You know, Gabe has been encouraging us to do some more debatable open topics. So the would you rather thing has been something I've been seeing a lot of in the rest of sports media. So I figured me and you'd give a shot. Right. So the would you rather, Michael, is Kirk Cousins and JJ.
Okay.
So quarterback and wide receiver or weapon combos that you would or would not rather have than the boys that we have here in Minnesota.
Fair enough.
And Gabe, did you have a list ready? I've made a backup one in case you didn't.
Thank you for having the backup one, dude. Holy shit.
You're welcome.
I've been jotting them just recently, but
You're good.
I'm going to chip in with some, though, as
All
we
right.
go.
That's fair. I'll start.
Is this all pretty much me? Like,
I've got, we'll just kind of go on rotation here. I'll list some.
okay.
I'll start. Would you rather have, how about Waller Carr?
I'd rather have Kirk and JJ.
Okay. That's fair. I think that one's about a tie for me. That one's a coin flip any given day.
I'd say it's close, but it's Kirk and JJ by still a decent. It's not a blowout by any means, but it's still Kirk and JJ.
Okay. How about
I
you?
got some back here if you want to keep it like more fair or whatever, so
Yeah.
you don't know them
Sure.
if you want. So
I've got a list of the ones I would take.
go ahead and finish the ones that you the one you got going. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Waller Carr for me is a little bit of a coin flip.
Okay. I think Kirk is better than Carr, and JJ is definitely better than Darren Waller as being a downfield target.
I think Waller and Carr's chemistry is better. And the comparison I make quarterback wise is if it's a noon game, I'd take Kirk. If it's a night game, I'd take Carr.
All right.
All right, Gabe, what do you got?
So let's try this.
Yeah.
Just the guy we were just talking about. Let's say Tom Brady and Mike Evans
I would take Brady and Evans.
I would take Brady and Evans.
versus Burrow and Chase.
Ooh, I would take Burrow and Chase over Kirk, but I don't. Would you? That's kind of the that's where we want to stay. Is who would you take over JJ and Kirk?
Oh,
So
okay.
everybody would be in comparison to them.
Oh, I was just comparing two
Yeah.
things. Sorry,
No,
I
just
get it.
against
Okay.
JJ and Kirk. So like Evans and Brady for sure.
I would
Burrow
ta- I
and
would take
Chase
Burrow and Chase as well.
because I like Burrow I think Chase is on par with JJ, but I think Burrow's a far
I
better,
think
superior
Kirk
quarterback.
I think Kirk and Burrow can throw the ball very similarly, but Burrow has an escapability that is almost comparable to like a slower Russell Wilson. The way he does things in that backfield.
And he has a competitive nature and gear that Kirk does not have. So do you have another one, Gabe?
I got a little bit of an offbeat one here.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do Mahomes and Tyreek Hill.
Well, Tyreek's in Miami now.
Oh yeah, he moved. Oh shit.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but we could go Tyreek and
Mike Williams.
Herbert Williams. Ooh, Williams is often hurt, and Herbert.
Williams is just inconsistent.
Yeah.
Outside of his injury history, him at his peak, like if you can say I have Justin Herbert and Mike Williams for sure playing their best right now, I would take them.
I would too.
But because of the inconsistency,
It becomes
I
a
would
coin
have
flip?
to take Kirk and JJ.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. What about Kyler and D Hop?
Okay, that was my next one.
That's a coin flip one to me. I
Really?
would rather have Kirk than the short gnome guy that plays quarterback in the desert. And then D Hop or JJ, I'd probably have D Hop.
Yeah,
So it's kind of a 50-50 there.
D Hop on PEDs though.
Yeah, on PEDs. Yeah, I'm taking.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: if it's a full game, I'll take Krik and JJ.
Yeah.
If there's 4 seconds left and I need a touchdown, I'll go
Kyler
and D-Hop.
All right. Stafford and Cup.
That's a good one. In theory, I'd like to think it's tied,
but it's probably not.
It's probably not. It's probably Stafford Cup.
Okay. What about Carr and Devontae?
Now that's a good one.
Because I think Devontae is a better receiver than JJ.
He is. Not by much.
And I think Carr is better in big moments than Kirk.
Right. But Kirk is overall more consistent as well.
Yes.
Who would I rather? So the question is, who would you rather? So I think I would rather go into this football season as a Vikings fan with Kirk Cousins at quarterback and JJ at receiver than Carr and Adams, even though that was very close for me.
Okay. Tom and Gronk. Going into this season, Tom and Gronk in their chemistry, or Kirk and JJ?
Again, like Kirk and JJ is going to get you more yards.
Tom and Gronk are going to get you more wins.
So many touchdowns
and so many wins.
Oh, I'll go Tom and Gronk because that is one of the best duos in history. You can't deny it.
Mahomes and Kelsey.
So, like, the way I'm almost thinking about this and my logic and my thought process is like, if I traded Kirk and JJ for these two guys, would I do that trade?
Right? Or would you get better when the trade's done?
Right. I'm gonna go Mahomes and Kelsey.
Okay.
I am.
Do you have any that you're thinking of where you're like, this might be a toss up? Because Allen and Diggs is a no brainer.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Kirk Cousins though, is he's so above average that you can't put him in a top tier level.
Yeah.
But if you go average quarterback, you're going to take Kirk all day long. So
Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy. it's
see, I would almost take Russ and Jeudy, like
because
up,
Russ is a better quarterback.
If the Broncos called us tomorrow and said, "Hey, we will give you Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy for JJ and Kirk,"
isn't so? Like
that's tough, dude. That's really tough.
When I said earlier that I think that they are farther down the list than I think most people realize because of how limited Kirk is, we have now gone through Allen and Diggs, Chase and Burrow, Kyler and D-Hop, kind of a toss-up. Stafford and Kupp are better. Tom and Evans are better. Tom and Gronk is better. Carr and Devontae is a toss-up, but you probably take Devontae as a wide receiver. It's a toss-up for Carr and Waller, and now you've taken Russ and Jerry Jeudy. At best, they are the 10th best quarterback wide receiver duo in the league, and we haven't even gone through the majority of the teams.
I think that's an indictment more so on Kirk than Justin Jefferson because, again, Kirk is a top
15 quarterback.
12, 13 quarterback?
So
if you're splitting hairs.
I've got a couple that just some fun ones if you think of it this way. How about even going in Vikings history?
Yeah, I was thinking all-time history.
Or Warren Moon and Chris Carter.
Ooh.
See, because you went CC instead of Randy, though.
Very purposely. Exactly.
Yeah. I would take. Ooh, and you went Moon.
But where was Moon at in his career
when
at
he was
that
playing
point?
For the Vikings, he was pretty dang old.
Yeah. I would take
Randall Cunningham and CC.
Yes.
Or Warren Moon and Randy, but not Warren Moon and CC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So then.
Is that fair?
So the other one I was going to do then is this is my really outside one. How about Jeff George and Randy Moss?
Because it's Randy, I have to take Randy.
Exactly.
Well, and you literally have the strongest armed quarterback ever that can throw the ball 90 yards to him.
Quarter mile over the mountains over there. Pretty close.
Like he's up there.
He's got to be. Yeah.
I mean, he had a rocket arm for sure.
No, he's known to be like one of the strongest armed quarterbacks.
He is also known to fold up like a lawn chair as soon as you got within 3 feet of him.
Right.
Yeah.
And his classic, can you? Yeah, his classic quarterback face mask is one of my favorite all-time things.
All right, I got a few more for you.
Wait, I got to answer the Jeff George and Randy one.
Oh, I'm taking it because it's Randy. I'm taking Randy. And Jeff.
Yeah, but Jeff George can throw the ball a quarter mile, but he's never accurate. So if Randy runs a slant, it might be picked off.
Randy has the largest catch radius in NFL history. He could tip the ball.
George will miss him.
He could tip the ball on the 5 and catch it in the back of the end zone.
Well, Jeff George ain't getting it even that close. I would rather have Kirk and JJ actually.
Wow.
Than Jeff George and Randy Moss.
Clip
because
that.
Jeff George is so inconsistent.
Clip that. Any conversation where you take anybody over Randy Moss is a bad answer.
It's not just a Randy Moss question, though.
Culpepper and CC.
Ooh.
Yeah. See, and again, if it's Culpepper and Moss, I'm taking Culpepper and Moss.
But Culpepper and CC, I would take Krik and JJ.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Because Dante was known as a downfield thrower for Randy. I never saw him as an accurate over the middle good quarterback on third down, but he did have better mobility and escapability than
Dante
Krik.
Culpepper was like the best quarterback in the NFL the year before he got hurt.
I agree.
True.
Literally.
He got a 10-year contract. Of course he was.
I'll take Dante and CC.
Oh wow. All right, fair enough. I got a couple more current day ones for you.
All right.
Lamar.
We're running out of time.
Lamar and Mark Andrews.
I'll take Krik and JJ.
Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown.
Move on.
Okay. Tua and Tyreek.
I think that one is going to be closer in 6 months than it is now.
The Dolphins did him no favors posting that clip yesterday.
But Krik and JJ.
Wow. Can you think of anybody else that you think is real close?
I'm trying to kind of go through the teams in my head.
Because Matt Ryan really doesn't have a quarterback right now. Aaron Rodgers really doesn't have a quarterback right now. Or don't have a wide receiver right now.
I mean, you got Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman.
Didn't the did the Browns get a wide receiver that we're forgetting about?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Just trying to think if that's really it. But that's 10, 11, 12, 13 for them.
From there, though, you really have teams with either a quarterback or a stud receiver, and not really
Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks.
You're hilarious. I mean, even the Commanders have.
Oh, they got Amari Cooper. Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper.
Krik and JJ.
Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. No, because this would push them outside the top 10, and I would have to take Dak and CD.
That's a 50-50 one for me. I can't go either way. I'm sorry. They're tied at 10th. What a Cowboys and Vikings thing to be.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks. So I think that's all we got.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah. What players, give us a list in the comment section. What wide receiver, quarterback combos currently, or tight end combos currently in the NFL would you take over Krik and JJ, and what ones are close? We'd love to.
Would you take Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 Hall of Famers. I was just testing you.
That's okay. You got another one before we end the show?
Joe Flacco and Jacoby Jones won a Super Bowl.
Is it a playoff game or a regular season game?
Playoff game.
Flacco and Jacoby Jones.
Kirk folds like a lawn chair.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we got.
I want to shout out one thing real quick, and I can't believe I didn't bring it up to you. But did you guys see? I'm super high on Jazz Chisholm now. Have you watched? Did you see his gangster ass home run that he hit? It was a week and a half now, but oh my God, we have to watch it. This dude is on his way to be truly a top 20 major league player.
You know who he's not better than? You know who he's not better than though, Gabe? He's not better than this guy right here.
He is better than him right now.
Right now, but not for long.
Maybe not, but he is
Jazz
electric.
is on the up and coming.
He's electric.
Too.
He is electric.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that is the end of Glass Half Sports on this wonderful Thursday afternoon. Mike, if they wanted to interact with the show or the media that we had in the future, where can they find it?
Yeah, guys, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify,
Twitter, Patreon,
YouTube,
Twitch, MCN.
Yeah, cable.
All the places that you can find sports media, folks, you can find us. Make sure you tune in next week. I know the NFL schedules are getting ready to drop, so me and Mike will be...
I want to say this on air. Rumor has it, U.S. Bank Stadium, week 1, Packers coming to town.
Oh, guess what? So the Vikings get to start 1-0. Cool.
By the way, they can catch the show on Roku.
That's right. That's right. On Roku through the MCN app. Also, you could find us. A lot of our clips are going to be up on the MBC Multicast channel on YouTube. Like I said, next week we will start to go through and break down some of the NFL schedules as we are 118 days away from the start of the 2022 NFL season, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. Mike, are you excited to start breaking down some schedules? I know that's one of the things we do that we enjoy to pass time before the season actually starts.
Yeah, it's actually really fun to do.
So,
and then to see how absolutely wrong you are by week 4.
Yeah, we were really bad on some teams last year, and we were really accurate with others. Mm-hmm. So Go ahead and tune on in. We will be starting that trend next week once the schedule drops. As always, take care, stay safe, and enjoy fishing opener, folks. We will see you next week. Oh, so close. So close to perfect.
I don't know what happened, guys.
Better than the Manning cast still, Gabe. Congratulations.
MBC. No relation to NBC.